Welcome to the Daily Agenda. It's been quite a day, or yesterday was quite a day for Mark Collett, leader of Patriotic Alternative, banned from the EU Schengen Zone for an almighty 15 years. And the great offence that he committed, or should I say the non-offence that he didn't commit, obviously, was being a nationalist travelling to Sweden to give a speech on tribal unity for white people, which is one thing this vile, evil communist regime that has dominated Europe and Britain, because Britain never really left the EU, remember? That piece of paper from Bruno Boris, stamped a withdrawal agreement, was just a ruse for the clowns who followed fake Farage. The real Brexiteers like me never swallowed any of it. But anyway, yes, of course, because Britain still is a proxy member of the EU, then obviously they offered Collett up, didn't they, to their EU masters. You know, Comrade Starmer's real bosses in the European theatre, that is. On the world theatre, you know, Starmer is a puppet of the WEF eco-terrorists. We all know the WEF is, well, King Charles, he calls himself, apparently, doesn't he? Disgraceful little man. If ever there was a traitor sat on the throne of England since Charles I, there's something in that name, isn't there, Charles? All three kings with that name have been an absolute disaster for this country. So yes, absolutely, the WEF puppets have been up to their old gangster tricks again, banning people, prescribing freedom of expression whilst ranting about, we have free speech in history in Britain. We've had a long history of free speech in Britain. We're very proud of it. As one law after the other is implemented to wipe out that very freedom of expression. Of course, you can express yourself quite freely if you support the evil regime. Anyone who doesn't support the evil regime obviously gets subjected to these instruments of tyranny. So in this case, Mark Collett was subjected to an instrument of tyranny in Sweden, passed down by the Eurocrats, banning him from the EU Schengen Zone for an almighty 15 years. It's quite an odd number, isn't it? 15 years. Why not 20? Why not 10? Why not 5? Why not a year? Why not 2 years? Why 15 years? That one remains to be explained. Collett gave no explanation about it because no explanation has been given to him either. And whilst, you know, some of us have disagreements with Collett and Patriotic Alternative over the way they do things, at the end of the day, what we should take from this is that, you know, it is a direct threat to all nationalists. This is what they intend to do. They intend to ban us from travelling across Europe. But obviously this doesn't apply to the likes of Tommy Robinson, the little Irish grifter who sold his soul to the Zionists with his Irish passport as well, I might add. No, Tommy can phone the bent coppers after committing alleged GBH at St Pancras railway station. And he can say to them, well, look, you know, I didn't do nothing, Gavner. I'm innocent as the day is long, innit, bruv? And, well, you just have to let me leave the country, innit, bruv? And go on holiday, innit? Innit? Because he loves that, innit, bruv? And that's exactly what they did. So he flew out of Stansted at just after 6 o'clock in the morning to Tenerife to fulfil his new name, Tenerife Tommy, one of his grifting paradises. Where no doubt he's got plenty of money stashed, and there's people there obviously who can support him as well, you know. Got to get to that cocaine mountain once in a time, hasn't he? It's usually every summer in actual fact. But yes, that's the point I'm making, is contrast Mark Collett with Tommy Rob and Sob. So Rob and Sob is suspected of GBH, speaks to the bent coppers and flies out of the country. No problem at all. No harassment, no 15-year order banning him from the EU Schengen Zone, because Tommy is just a paid actor. That's all Tommy is, he's a paid actor. And the Muppets who can't see it, no problem. You know, you'll be gone in the first wave of the bet scenario. Frankly, many of us just can't wait for it to happen. We're just sat back licking our laps with the popcorn. Truthfully, I assure you, that is exactly what we're doing. Don't think you're getting any help or support from us. That will never happen. You know, when the first bet scenario erupts, absolutely. We won't be erupting with them, we'll be just sat back watching the entertainment. And Tommy, no doubt, will run away to his Tenerife Tommy hideout with his Coke mountain and his loot. And he's known to have said, because we've heard a voice recording of Tommy saying, "Oh fuck it, all the things I've been through over the years, I'm just going to take my money and run, innit?" So yeah, look, at the end of the day, Tommy and his fanboys have been passing information to the Metropolitan Police on political activists to help them put banning orders on them, particularly with reference to Epping. I mean, it takes a particularly low-life specimen, doesn't it, to pretend to be anti-establishment whilst passing information to bent coppers to ban other anti-establishment activists. In other words, genuine anti-establishment activists. And it's not just Rob and Sob. We know Rob and Sob has had a special branch handler for many years because, of course, Jada Franson confirmed this to us, didn't she, from 2015 onwards. And before that, he had a special branch handler. And we've suspected him of being a paid actor, a police informant, for nearly 20 years, in truth. So there's nothing new about what's happening with Rob and Sob. I'm simply making the contrast, the comparison between Mark Collett and Rob and Sob. So, I mean, Collett has, quite a large number of detractors. But in truth, he has been banned for 15 years from the Schengen Zone without actually saying a thing. Now, he didn't commit any act of violence, alleged or actual, and was banned anyway. Tommy can knock some old guy out at an airport, at a railway station. The airport one will come on his way back, no doubt. In it, bro. And, yes, he can just swan around, knock people out, and walks around Europe, no problem at all. And this is the same Tommy who said, what was it? Oh yeah, I walked around London and I went to see these coppers, bent coppers, that's right. Bent coppers were shaking his hands. You were right, Tommy, innit? You didn't cause no trouble, did you, Governor? Innit, bruv? That's right, shaking his hands galore. Well, of course they would do, wouldn't they? They would do, wouldn't they? They wouldn't shake my hand. In actual fact, no. No way would they ever shake my hand. No, they'd just make up some false allegations about being a drug dealer, like they did before, and I wiped the floor with them and that. And then they hand me over to the bent crooks at Wiltshire Police, where I wiped the floor with them. It's occupational hazard when you're a genuine political activist, but when you're a paid actor, you can just knock someone out and swan all over Europe. But go to Sweden and encourage white people to do white people things and to preserve white identity and cultural homogeneity, and that's classed as dangerous. That's really dangerous, And Collett wasn't advocating any form of violence or any form of extremism at all in this context. Despite all his failings, and we know he has many, we have to judge the man on this occasion based entirely on what has happened in Sweden. And he did nothing of an illegal nature in Sweden, nor did he do anything of a legal nature before planning to go to Sweden. There is absolutely nothing against him at all. In essence, we've entered minority report territory, haven't we, with this Swedish issue. But in the case of Tommy, well, the minority report machine just broke down completely, didn't it? Because his snitches are reporting genuine political activists to the bent coppers to get banning orders put on them. At Epping, primarily. Yes, absolutely. And one of his little fanboys was caught talking to the BBC as well at Epping. Oh, very embarrassing. And then, of course, we had the ginger cokehead, the sniffhead, Ginger Tony, winding it up like the lion tamer, whipping her lions in the circus, causing trouble left, right and centre, and then scuttling off again with their knuckle duster in her pocket. Never gets stopped, never gets searched, never gets arrested. And you have to ask yourself, why is that? It's because they're all paid actors, they're all snitches, they're all on the payroll, they're all working from a script. And of course, the biggest crook amongst all of them is Ezra Levant of the Bible grift infamy. And of course, should remember that less than 24 hours after Tommy sparked out some old guy at St. Pancras, allegedly, that is, he was grifting. Ah, yeah, absolutely, grifting for even more money. I mean, there's still a vast surplus left over from the contempt of court case last year in which he pleaded guilty. They want even more money because that's what it's all about. It's grift, grift, grift off Gormless fruitcakes. And if they're prepared to hand their money over to these grifters, they deserve to be robbed. All I will do is just sit back and laugh at the Gormless clowns. But the real issue for us is that this banning order with Mark Collett, it's meant to send a shudder across all European nationalists, so that they believe that they will not be able to travel around Europe, they will not be able to link up with other Europeans. But I can assure you, I mean, obviously, these people aren't very bright, are they? Europe is landlocked. All of these European nations, apart from Britain and Ireland and Iceland, are landlocked. So, you know, the easiest way to get into another country is you just go to the nearest village, closest to the border, at night time, and cross on foot, where somebody in your own underground movement will meet you. You've got to start behaving like the SOE in World War II. Okay, we are living in a communist tyranny. You've got to start behaving like an SOE agent in World War II, operating behind enemy lines. And stop thinking along the lines that you can just get on a plane or on a train and cross a border to see your friends and your allies in another country and nothing will happen to you. Those days are now over. That's what this arrest, sorry, it's not an arrest, is it? This banning order, that's what they're saying to us basically. Your freedom of movement is over. Your freedom of speech is over. We are now officially living in a communist regime. And contrary to being afraid of it and backing down to it, absolutely not. We need to mobilise against it, but not openly like these clowns going around the migrant hotels, putting themselves on the radar and getting stitched up left, right and centre. No, we need to do it covertly. We need to do it covertly. And I would advise all nationalists, and I've done this before, to go away this night, yeah, or tomorrow night, but do it quickly and watch the Hunted docu-series that I made on YouTube, yeah, and learn the tricks of the trade that you are going to need to fight this evil, corrupt regime, not just here in Bolshevik Britain, but across the whole of Europe. Go away and learn how to do it. The Americans should do it as well, in actual fact, because, you know, Trump's only here for a short while and he's not a genuine nationalist anyway, he's just another Zionist puppet. Go away and learn the tricks of the trade. You're going to need those tricks of the trade. The reason why I published that docu-series, well, should it not be quite obvious by now? But despite my own personal differences with Mark Collett and his sidekick Laura Towler, truthfully, I mean, this banning is absolutely disgraceful. It's completely unwarranted. I mean, he's already on the extremism list here, which is another bizarre stunt. I can understand why the British movement's on the extremism list. It should have been 40 years ago, in truth, but there wasn't an extremism list, was it? No, on the contrary, the British movement was working for Operation Gladio, you see, but then once they've become tired of using and abusing these people, this is what they do, and this is the sheer morality of selling out and becoming a snitch bitch, isn't it? That's the reason why I've never done it. And you can say whatever you want to about me, I couldn't care less. Come and say it to my face in particular. Yeah, I couldn't care less what you've got to say. Fact of the matter is, I've never once sold out. End of. Never once sold out, and I'm never going to. And proof positive of that fact is what I said earlier. Go away. Yes, that's right, go away. Go away this very night and watch the Hunted docu-series. And speaking of the Swedish context, well, take a look at that. Runes, bind rune, that one means against all evil. Quite appropriate, isn't it? You know, this is the same Sweden that only just a few years ago wanted to ban any public display of the runes. This campaign was led by a Muslim politician, no less. Typical Abrahamism, wanting to eradicate paganism. That's right. You have to ask yourself on this current trajectory, how long will it be in this so-called land of Sweden, where many of my ancestors come from, the Ingvar anglicised to Inga? How long will it be in that country called Sweden before they're going around and ripping up all of the runestone road? There are hundreds, thousands in fact, runestones all over Sweden. How long will it be before they rip them up? Well, of course, this banning of Mark Collett, who's not a pagan, he's a nominal Christian apparently, according to him, whatever that means. And it just shows us exactly what these people are capable of, and that they are absolutely hell-bent on destroying European culture. What's happening is the great confrontation is here. But don't be stupid. Don't be stupid. I'm going to speak directly to nationalists, particularly the Homeland Party guys. Look, disengage immediately from these migrant hotel protests. You've put yourself on the radar, you know, it's ridiculous. In league with the bloody centre-right who absolutely detest you, and are actually grassing on you to the Metropolitan Police and also snitching on you to the BBC. Why on earth would you want to share the same breathing space as these people? I've told you countless times not to trust the centre-right. Is it ever going to sink in? Maybe not with some people. But I'll give you this very last wise warning. Disengage immediately from all migrant hotel protests, and soon enough you'll understand exactly why. And whilst I'm not going to make it public, there's also a far better strategy that we can use in this context, you know. But it's entirely up to you. If you want to go along with the centre-right clowns and their rage and chanting and stupid content creator making their money from clickbait, it's entirely up to you. There's not really an awful lot I can do to help you, or more to the point, save you. But if you can't save yourselves, that's your problem, quite frankly. It really is. I'm trying to help you. My advice to you is disengage immediately from all migrant hotel protests. Do not attend anymore. Talk about them in the public domain? Absolutely right. Campaign against it. Keep up the remigration campaign, 100%. But don't attend any of those protests from now on. If you do, and you suffer the consequences, that's your problem. And on a closing note, the vile communist organisation Hope Not Hate mocked the ban on Mark Collett by saying, this, after he was deported from Sweden, this is a remigration we can all support. Well, in truth, perhaps we should be clear about what we intend to do with Hope Not Hate when this battle is won. We intend to remigrate them to solitary confinement indefinitely. And I'm sure that's a remigration campaign everyone can support. But only if they're anti-communist, that is. Which excludes fake Farage and his deep fake Reform UK. See, I'm speaking to nationalists, not clowns. I hope I'm speaking to nationalists and not clowns. It's up to you. I've given you my advice. What you do is your choice.